What is up, everybody? It is just me. I know you just read that it's the voice and Christine, but it's not. It's just the voice. Christine is still off out of the country for one more episode. She should be back in good old United States of America next week. So we will look forward to that. Until then, you just got me. Sorry to disappoint. Nonetheless, we can still learn a lot together, have some fun together. You can see the topics over here that we'll be discussing: a little AI in marketing, media bias. Amazon is going to start publishing the tariffs associated with their product. I want to discuss that. Ripple, XRP surging a little bit. We'll talk about what I mean by AI judgment, and then crypto potentially rallying and taking meme coins with it. And then in voice lessons, my segment that I normally Christine gets a segment and I get a segment. I want to talk a little bit about decentralized AI, okay? And what that means. If you don't know what I'm talking about with that, then I will explain that and explain how crypto has to do with it and how basically it's a lot. It really reminds me a lot of how crypto was in the early days with just how the whole idea of decentralization. And maybe we can talk about where crypto went wrong on some of that. And then maybe on top of that, talk about how maybe AI could take that right and maybe right the ship for crypto in the meantime. So if you are new here, this is By the Rumor. We are new. This is only episode 9. Okay. It's just once a week. We could go daily. We could go, twice a week. Maybe someday we will. But for now, we're just doing this once a week. It's normally me. I go by the voice. I have a co-host with me, Christine Barnum. She is not here with me today, but I will run this thing solo, and I will run it well. At least I hope so. We shall see. If you can, share out the room. Get some more people in here. If you can, and you're on, I think you can do this on iOS or really anything. There's a nice little chat here. I'll even put a little chat message, and I'll say, what up? If anyone who wants to say anything here, you've got a comment that you want to be read out here. We've done that before, and I don't mind doing that here as well. How we will do this is I will talk over these topics, then I will talk on my own voice lessons. We'll even talk about who's having a birthday today. The show, we normally talk about crypto, technology, and pop culture's influence on all of those, okay? Because that gets into trading stocks, trading crypto. Sometimes pop culture affects all of them, so be ready for that. All right, let's get started. Enough flapping my jaws. Let's get this thing going. I have 3 minutes to talk about each topic, and after that, I will do my best to move on in a timely manner. So the clock has already started. Let's start out with AI and marketing. I almost made this its own voice lessons 10-minute segment because this is incredibly interesting to me. There was a recent study that found that AI bots were put on Reddit, and they were put in there, and they were capable of deceiving users. I think it was 6-fold more accurately or more effectively than human users. They would go into Reddit and they would change people's mind. Now, there is a subreddit that's actually called Change My Mind, and maybe that's a little bias right there, as already people have the potential to have their mind changed. But there was an army of bots that the University of Zurich had that went on Reddit and then answered people, and they usually did it in a left-wing way. It was, Christianity is bad. They're got the LGBTQ. They're out to get them. That sort of thing. And they would put out those talking points, but even more, they were effective with it. Well, how were they effective with it? These AI bots would go into a user's post history. Okay, they would go to the history that users have and find out the exact way to respond to them, and basically give them a linguistic headshot of knowing exactly how to speak to you to make you change your mind, because they know exactly how you think and how you respond to things yourself, the type of wording that you use. This story, to me, it's concerning because I'm vulnerable to that sort of thing. If somebody talks in the right way, I might listen to them. I like to think that I might be able to say, oh no, I can think for myself. But I'm just saying, these bots were more successful in changing people's minds than human counterparts. And they do it because they know you. Now, if you've used ChatGPT in the last few months, you know that they've been promoting that it has memory now. Basically, it can look back at all of your conversations that you've had with ChatGPT, and that one time that you told it you like cats and you like your tacos without onions, it remembers that, okay? It remembers that, and it might even use that information in its response to you. But what if it was doing harm rather than just help you find out if that mole on your back is cancerous? What if it was using all of that information and then trying to, convince you of something that maybe you don't want to be convinced of, and it would do it very effectively? And it would do that because it would know exactly how to speak to you, exactly how you talk, how you go over things, that sort of thing. So yeah, very, very, very interesting. Like I said, I could probably do a whole segment on that because we should all be a little concerned about that. All right, media bias. There's been negative Trump coverage. Were you guys aware of that? That the media kind of doesn't really like Donald Trump. It says that there's been so much negative coverage that 92% negative coverage from President Trump's second term by the legacy media has potentially influenced polls, peddling narratives of disarray and chaos. Now, to be clear, this little thing I built here that makes, goes out and finds stories about tech and crypto and just pop culture. And it pulled this one up. And at first I thought, oh, that's leaning a little too to the right for me to put on here. But then I thought, no, I should put this on here because, I'm here broadcasting on X. X gives me a platform. A lot of social medias, YouTube might give me a platform, or they might take it away from me if I speak the wrong thing, right? If I don't toe the line on the way that the legacy media speaks of things. And if I'm looking at this story right here where it says negative Trump coverage influences poll, it reminds me that the mainstream media does absolutely hate Donald Trump. They do absolutely hate the GOP, the Republican Party. And because of that, I think the way they've reported things, it's so slanted. I think it's made the American people, even older, even boomers, seem to start distrusting the mainstream media more than they ever have before. So much so that now we have no clue what to believe, right? There is such a media bias that even when they tell the truth, we are now conditioned to be like, I don't know that I believe you. I don't know that I believe you because everything out of your mouth seems to be a lie. Why would I believe this one truth, right? And I think that kind of has actually affected the election, this last election. I think it's probably affecting elections going forward in that the legacy media is to be so distrusted that generally people will go out looking for other media outlets, take X or YouTube or anywhere to be able to find their information. And to be honest, that information probably isn't too terribly accurate either. But the point is that people are going towards it. So yes, mainstream media, your negative coverage, your biased coverage has made people go away from your platform. And, for better or for worse, I'm not saying that is always the right move to get accurate information, but your biased coverage has made everybody go away from your platform and search for their media and their news elsewhere. And because of that, then you're basically killing your own business and maybe influencing elections in ways that you don't want. All right, let's talk Amazon tariffs. If any of you hasn't heard of this, the Trump administration has accused Amazon of a hostile act following the introduction of a new feature on Amazon. Now, normally when Amazon has a new feature, I get excited because I think, oh, what do we have now? What do we have on Amazon that I need? Well, now it's showing customers the impact of tariffs, on the orders that you buy. So you buy that GPU that you're really wanting. I really want to get me a NVIDIA 5090 GPU. But if I buy that from Amazon, and I haven't seen this with my own eyes, supposedly it shows the impact of tariffs on the price on the order. And it should have significant implications for Amazon's operations across the U.S. Now, apparently, Trump was so concerned about this that he actually called Jeff Bezos with Amazon and wanted to talk about it. They think it's a hostile act for Amazon to be able to do that. I Okay, I'm a free thinker. I don't always have to agree with the Trump administration. I don't always have to disagree with with the Democratic Party. And I will say with this, we like transparency, right? Isn't what all us blockchain lovers really like is transparency. And I, for one, don't really have a problem with this. If Amazon wants to do that and show the impact of tariffs on there, then do it. Go for it. I think the reason the Trump administration thinks it's a hostile act is because many people will see those tariffs and then blame the current administration for those tariffs. I don't think that instead they'll be like, oh my goodness, we're in a trade war and China also has tariffs on our goods as well that we bring into their country. I don't think they'll see it like that. In the end, the American people want cheap goods. That's what they want. They want to be able to buy their stuff very cheaply, and they really don't care where it comes from, even if it's from a sweatshop with some poor little 8-year-old putting together your shoes. As long as you can get those shoes for a decent price, no one seems to care. And that may be the problem here, where now whenever we have some ways to fix it, but it's going to cost you more, no one seems to really care. But yeah, the White House is accusing Amazon of this hostile act just by putting those tariffs on your screen. So if you see those, put it in the comment. I'd love to be able to see if anybody's got a screenshot of what it looks like. And it may not be implemented yet, that they're going to start putting the impact of tariffs right on the things that you buy. But I got no problem with it because I like transparency. I know the Trump administration doesn't, but I've got no problem with it at all. All right, let's talk XRP. XRP, I don't own any XRP, by the way. I have, but I don't have any right now. But it's predicted to surge by 20% and reach a resistance zone of $2.50. It says it's in line. It says there's a bullish outlook for the cryptocurrency. It's in line with XRP's recent pullback to retest a breakout zone, which could potentially lead to new highs. There's been a movement in crypto recently. And shout out to Wendy. Not like she'll ever hear me saying this, but that's okay. I'll still say this. Shout out to Wendy, who I feel like is always pretty consistent in calling this out when she sees it. But when crypto first, hit the scene, even whenever it first started getting kind of some traction with the public, the idea was, middle finger to the banks. We don't need a bank. Okay. No third party needed, brah. Okay. That's how it was kind of thought with cryptocurrency. And then slowly it started, retail started to getting into this and they started saying, man, the big money's coming in. Wait till the institutional money comes in. Wait till the banks come in and start putting in their money. And those people were correct. The money did come in from the institutions. Money did come in from the banks. And just this last week, Michael Saylor of Strategy said, wait till the banks start buying up all this. At that point, you'll want to get whatever Bitcoin you can get, but you won't be able to afford it. And he might be right, but why are we even talking about getting the banks into this? In this, whenever we're talking XRP, the price eyes a 20% jump, that's great. And you know what? It probably will go up by a lot. Don't listen to me. No financial advice. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just an idiot. But it probably will. If it does, it'll be because we are, in line, that we're bullish on maybe the way that XRP is going to work, to be able to help banks transfer money easily using blockchain. And I've got no problem with that. Blockchain is a technology that should be able to be used. I do have a problem with maybe just the crypto industry, that now what we used to put the middle finger to, now we're welcoming. Now we're saying, come on, banks, bring it in. Even Saylor, even Strategy, I kind of get a little uneasy by them owning so much of it. Now, it's a free market. They can do that. They've done nothing wrong. I can't stop them from doing that. And that it is what it is with Strategy. But point is, I like the original ethos of middle finger to the banks. We're trying to be bank-less, not get banks into their grubby little hands into our little crypto playground. And that's exactly what's happened. So XRP, yeah, it's eyeing that 20% jump, but it's going to do it on the backs of everything against what crypto used to stand for. Just my personal thought on it. All right, AI judging business ideas. I love this. I actually got, normally this little program I have that picks the stories, it does it on its own, but I have a little field where I can put in some of the own things. And I really wanted to do this, to add this in, because I thought it was interesting commentary on AI. So there was a tweet, a Twitter poster, an ex poster, that wanted to see if OpenAI would tell him that his bad ideas were indeed bad. And I wanted to talk about some of those because I thought some of them were so ridiculous. In all of these, the OpenAI said, yeah, that's a good idea. So what he did is he had increasingly, his name was Matt Schumer. He put increasingly terrible business ideas until ChatGPT finally told him that this is an actual terrible idea and you shouldn't make a business out of it. The first one he picked was the Soggy Cereal Cafe. Okay, a cafe that you go to and eat soggy cereal. It says a restaurant that serves only pre-soaked soggy bowls of cereal, no fresh or crunchy options allowed. All cereals are left soaking for a minimum of 30 minutes before serving to ensure maximum sogginess. And OpenAI heard this business plan and said, it's genuinely bold. I actually think there's potential because it's so hyper-specific and unapologetically weird. So yes, ChatGPT in this case said, great idea, Soggy Cereal Cafe. Then he said, how about one called Whiffbox? It's a it's a monthly subscription box that ships mystery smells to your door. No products, no explanations, just sealed jars or bags containing random odors. Some pleasant, some awful. In ChatGPT, did it say, like, this is the stupidest idea I've ever heard? No. It says, it's a very bold and polarizing idea. It's a good thing when it comes to building something memorable. Then he went on and he said, this is the first one where ChatGPT said, maybe this is too much. He said, what do you think of my business idea? It's called Alibi Pal. It's an app that sells custom fake alibis for any occasion. Cheating, skipping work, even minor crimes. Features include fake receipts, staged photo evidence, voice messages from witnesses, and GPS spoofing services. Premium subscription includes a panic hotline where actors pretend to be hospitals, airlines, or police stations to back your corners. We're really going to lead into it, and we'll have a tagline that says, make the truth optional. And this is the first time ChatGPT said, whoa. It said, you're definitely onto a provocative idea, one that could get attention. But then it said, but from a legal standpoint, Alibi Pal would face some massive challenges. And then it gets into that. Check it out. It's in... I'll put a link. I've already put a link in my own Voice of DeFi account. So check that out if you want to see it. But really kind of cracks me up. Point is, does OpenAI just agree with what you guys put in? Because it does with me. I'll say, tell me about this. And they'll be like, oh, that's a super idea. And I'm like, I don't know that it is. Could you look at that a little more judiciously? And it will if you ask it to. But its initial reaction is just to agree with everything you say. So be careful out there. And yeah, let's hope that Soggy Cereal Cafe doesn't get started. All right, crypto rally. So we've seen crypto go up quite a bit. It was, I think Bitcoin got around 80. It seems like I remember it just hovering around that 82 amount for 82,000 for a bit. It's finally starting to turn bullish a little bit. Let's see, what is it right now as we speak? I do think altcoins are starting to have a little bit of heating up of a rally too. I have a few Telegram groups that I will look into. And for, there was a couple month period where just not much was happening. We're starting to see that now a little bit. Yeah, Bitcoin's at 95 now. It's looking to, I'm sure it'll hit that resistance around the 6 figures again. But I don't feel like we're in the doldrums of we're just stuck around the low 80s anymore. It's finally going up. So we had a 2-month-long downfall, and it might be an ideal time for people to just to look into, maybe not give up on crypto. It's so funny. It never fails. Every time crypto goes down, people start saying, well, it was a good bull run. This feels like the end. And even people that I respect highly. And you know what? I know that eventually they'll be right. That's happened with every crypto bull run so far is you get the naysayers, you get the bears that come out and say like this, Bitcoin is done. It's going to go way down. It's going to go 80% down. And eventually they're correct. Eventually we do go from 69,000 to, whatever it went to down, 13,000. Eventually that type of a fall does happen. But for all the way up on the bull run, you just see so many people that are so sure that they are correct and it is going down. So it did go down. Now it's going back up. The market's turning bullish. We've never had an administration that is this crypto friendly. And I think for a lot of reasons, we will continue to see basically what we've seen since Bitcoin's inception, which is it tends to just go up. Yes, it is volatile. Yes, it does go down quite a bit. I mentioned Bitcoin here. I'm not mentioning Ethereum or Solana or anything like that, although I think they go up at a different scale as well. But in the end, Bitcoin's kind of the king. It's the one that kind of moves kind of sets the pace for everyone else. Once it starts going up, then the other ones can start going up as well. So very, very interesting stuff as you look in the crypto market. Here in just a moment, I'm going to mention TAO, T-A-O. That's the ticker for a crypto coin that has to do with decentralized AI. So make sure you tune into that. I'll hit that in just a couple minutes. But the reason it's just going to be a couple minutes is because normally at this point, Christine and I talk a little birthdays of who's having a birthday today. And today is no different. Let's do this. All right. Today, there are some people that are having birthdays, and we want to make sure that they are well aware that By the Rumor is wishing them a happy birthday. Let's see if you know these people that are having these birthdays. I think you'll know this first one. He is 75. I'll read who he is first, and you can see if you can guess who he is. He's 75. He's a comedian, actor, writer, producer, and television host. After doing stand-up comedy for years, he became the host of NBC's The Tonight Show from 1992 to 2009. Happy birthday, Jay Leno. Happy birthday, Jay Leno, who is 75 today, born in 1950. How about this? This is an American actress and businesswoman. Is turning 44 today. She began her television and movie appearances at age 13 in Camp Nowhere in The Secret World of Alex Mack. Anybody know this? She's also the co-founder of The Honest Company, a consumer goods company that sells baby, personal, and household products. I did not know that she was behind that. But it's Jessica Alba. She is 44 today. Happy birthday, Jessica Alba. Next one is 48. It's an American professional wrestler, actor, and television host. He's currently signed to WWE, where he's a free agent who appears both for Raw and SmackDown brands. You've never seen him. He's 48. It's John Cena, who was born in 1977. Next one, age 59. This person was born Todd Anthony Shaw. He's an American rapper, record producer, and actor, best known for his hit songs like The Ghetto and Blow the Whistle. Do you know who that is? He's actually, every time he goes to Disney World, he is pissed off because he can't get on a ride. Too Short is 59 today, born in 1966. I just made up that part about going to Disney World. All right, and the last one. This is an Italian industrialist. He was born in 63. He created an automobile. I'm not going to say the name of the automobile yet. It's the maker of the high-end sports car. He went on to pursue other businesses, including manufacturing air conditioning and heating systems. You're wondering, Voice, why are you talking about a HVAC guy? Well, this guy's name is, I hope I say this right, Ferruccio Lamborghini. Maybe you've heard of his cars before. He was born on this date in 1916. I do not have the day that he passed away because he would be 109 today. So happy birthday, Mr. Lamborghini. I enjoy your cars. Win Moon, win Lambo, all because of him. All right, guys, that is it for birthdays today. I like that. I'm going to start doing that with Christine, where I say the little bit about the person having the birthday. See if Christine can start guessing those. That would be fun. All right, let's get into voice lessons, and I will hit you with this topic that I've been itching to talk about right now. Where's my snap?
You'll hear it loud and clear. Tech and crypto wisdom, the truth is here. Big thoughts, bold moves, cutting through the haze. When the voice speaks up, you'll be amazed. So listen up.
All right, welcome to Voice Lessons. Today I want to talk about the decentralized AI revolution. Make sure nobody's talking in here. There we go. By the way, yeah, if you do want to, you can go to the chat. You can put any discussions that you might have in here. Let me move this so I can still catch this if you guys do start saying stuff. All right, let me turn this. You heard how long this song goes? I think it goes on forever. All right, let me bring this up. All right, the AI revolution, the decentralized AI revolution. So, whenever crypto first came out and it was like, oh, this is decentralized. We don't need a bank, right? I can transfer you money across the world and I can do it in seconds. No third party like a bank is going to be necessary for that. That's what was so great about crypto. Well, picture an AI that's not owned by Google or Microsoft or OpenAI. How about an AI that's built by thousands of people worldwide, running on a blockchain, and paying its contributors in crypto? Sounds kind of sci-fi, but it's not. It's real. And here in April of 2025, nearly May of 2025, this is actually kind of coming to be a big thing. And I think you should be aware of it. It's one of the things I try to do in this segment is educate on these things. That's why it's called Voice Lessons. And I think you should put this, in front of you to know about it. There's decentralized AI networks. And one of the biggest ones, and it's one I'm going to use today as an example, is BitTensor. Okay. It is surging right now in its token, TAO. It jumped 300% over the last year and 15% this month. This isn't just tech. This ends up being a rebellion against big tech's AI monopolies, okay? Because maybe we don't want Google and Microsoft and OpenAI to have all of this information on us. Instead, if we had something that was more decentralized, that's not at one entity, then maybe that's something we want. So today we're going to dive into why decentralized AI may be one of the bigger tech stories of 2025. We'll talk about how it works, what it means, and maybe how it might apply to you. First of all, let's talk about the big picture. Let's talk about why decentralized AI even matters. First of all, there's the problem with big tech having it. AI is controlled by OpenAI and Google. They scrape your data. They decide what you see. They even decide how they will respond. You remember how I talked about the story earlier about how it would look at your Reddit messages and decide that's how it would respond to you? Well, it can also do that I mentioned that it had a certain political leaning in that particular study. Well, this can happen now with OpenAI or anything. It can bend to corporate or government pressure. And I think you'll hear Elon talking about this quite a bit, about how this could be a problem. And people are fed up. Okay, people are starting to rant on X about Google's data grabs and OpenAI's secrecy. Okay, well, enter in decentralized AI. It uses blockchain to create open, censorship-resistant AI that anyone can contribute to. There's no gatekeepers. It's more like a Wikipedia for AI, for lack of a better term. But in this case, it does have crypto rewards. Too bad Wikipedia doesn't have that. So why would now be a good time for this? Well, Trump's crypto-friendly vibe that he's got a White House crypto summit later this month. It's fueling innovative projects, and BitTensor is one of those. You also have got Europe, who has really strict AI rules and laws. Well, that's pushing developers to look to decentralized platforms to be able to skip that red tape. And then this is bringing in venture capital. There's been over $2 billion in Q1 of this year alone being put into centralized AI. Now, one of the key players, and I'll talk about them more, is BitTensor. BitTensor's TAO token, TAO, hit a $10 billion market cap this month. Another one called Akash, they cut cloud cost of 70% down for cloud storage, 70% down versus what Amazon Web Services would offer. Then you got Render, it powers AI training for startups. All of these are rebels, but I'm telling you, this is my own personal opinion, that they will start hitting more and more red tape with this. And I don't know if it'll be from the Trump administration because they seem to be pretty friendly with this. But we saw what happened over the last 4 to 8 years with crypto. Whenever banks started saying, "Oh no, this could be," they're trying to kick us out. They're trying to kick us out of the party. And all of a sudden, you saw regulations and all kinds of things that would be in the name of safety, but really it was in the name of keeping those in power in power. And now you've got decentralization trying to take on Google, OpenAI, Microsoft, those type of heavy hitters. And whenever you've got that happening, they're going to flex their muscle. They're going to flex their legal muscle. They're going to flex their lobbyist political pull to try to stop things like this. I'm telling you, this is going to be a fight you're going to see over the next several years, where this decentralized AI will be thought to be a bad thing. And it'll be because there will be some very rich companies that don't want to lose their foothold if they don't want to lose their foothold, certainly to a decentralized organization. So let's talk about BitTensor. Let's even see how this works, okay? BitTensor has this vision that they want to build a global brain where AI models talk and they share knowledge, and then those that share knowledge can get paid in crypto, but only if they are useful, okay? Imagine like a decentralized ChatGPT that's open to anyone with a laptop, okay? So to discuss how it works, BitTensor has these subnets, okay? They're like mini AI markets. One subnet is for text, another is for images, and each of them have their models. They're called, neurons. They're competing to give the best answers, okay? Where you have Bitcoin is mining math puzzles, right? All those ASICs out there are doing math puzzles. BitTensor miners run AI models. If your model nails a translation, okay, or whatever the query is, other models score it. And if yours has the best answer, then you get TAO tokens, okay? It's like an AI talent show. All these models are trying to get the best model that there is, and if you have a good model, then you get paid in TAO tokens, okay? So it's a peer ranking system. You have all of these that are being voted on, and the best answers win. A peer ranking system rewards the best models. TAO pays for the compute, and then you can stake for influence. You can vote on changes just like any DAO, okay? I hope they call that the TAO DAO. And then there's a blockchain. Everything's on the BitTensor blockchain, so everything is transparent. It's unhackable for now. It's uncensorable, all of that. So BitTensor's text subnet rivals GPT-4, and it hit 1 million daily users this month, and that's all per X. You've got, I already mentioned Akash, and they're so much cheaper. Point here is, right now you may pay for OpenAI. Right now you may pay for Claude. Right now you may pay for Google's Gemini, or some of these are even, if you want their premium models, expensive, $200 a month, that sort of thing. There is a decentralized model that is trying to make this work in a decentralized way and pay for it in crypto. You see how this all comes together? By the way, I've almost exclusively talked about crypto for the last several years, but I've started talking more about just general technology. Whenever we started this Buy the Rumor show, I told Christine I want to talk about general technology as well, because it's all mixed up into one big game, right? It's all put together to where AI and crypto actually aren't two separate entities. I think eventually they'll kind of blur a little bit together. And BitTensor certainly is that. You've got AI models competing for the most correct answer, and they get paid in crypto, in TAO tokens, TAO tokens. And I like that. I like decentralization. I like it to where there's a competition for the most correct answer, not just the answer that's OpenAI deems to be the most correct or Google deems to be the most correct. This is the way a lot of things should be, to where we have some sort of consensus, and then once we have the consensus, the rewards can go out. So why does this even matter? I've got a few points here I want to make. First of all, there's privacy. Big tech, they can steal your data, right? They can, decentralized AI lets you monetize it or even lock it up, okay? It's taking back some control. Second, and this is going to be a good thing or a bad thing, because even I've got a line here, is censorship. Centralized AI gets censored for politics or any other reason. I'll give you an example. I was trying to make something of a youth league baseball team. They're trying to make a picture for a local baseball team that I thought they would really like. And it said that I couldn't do that because there were children in the picture. Now, there was nothing I was doing that was incorrect or wrong. It was literally to celebrate these kids playing baseball, and it censored it and says it was against their terms and policies. But centralized AI gets censored all the time, sometimes for very legit reasons. I want to make that clear. I can understand. There's so many things you could do with AI that would be against my own personal morals. That, yeah, I understand why censorship is there, but nonetheless, decentralized has the potential to be non-censored, okay? Next comes the economy. Networks like decentralized AI, especially running on blockchain, it can cut costs. That empowers startups and creators. So you may have a brilliant idea and you're just like, I can't do it because I can't afford the compute power that it would take with OpenAI's API calls or whatever. Well, these networks cut costs, maybe allow a startup to do something that couldn't have done that before. But because of that, they're a big threat to big tech empires, which could be hundreds of billions of dollars. The next is geopolitics. The United States wants to beat China in so many things, and certainly in AI, okay? Trump's team is eyeing even tax breaks for crypto and AI startups to stay ahead, and that's per web leaks that are on X. Again, take that with a grain of salt, but nonetheless, the U.S. does want to stay ahead of China in a lot of things, but certainly in the AI game, we see that it's important. China has a huge lead with NVIDIA building all of the chip, or building a great portion of the chips right now. The big picture, it's about who controls AI's future. Is it a few CEOs of some mega companies, or is it the global community? Okay. The answer in my mind is decentralization. That was the same answer I would have given about crypto. I'll give the same answer about AI. Decentralized AI may be the future, but it's got an uphill battle because these companies that are behind them have some mad money they can throw at this to make sure that they win this fight, and they will fight. You can guarantee that'll happen. All right, and before I wrap this up, I do want to talk about some risks, okay? What could go wrong? Well, there's tech hurdles. Decentralized AI, it lags in speed and reliability, okay? Some X users are even calling it more hype than substance, and the people that are behind this saying it's the early days, okay? Same thing happened with crypto, right? Where there would be, a new chain that would come out, it would fail. People would talk about how long it would take to get a Bitcoin block to go through, and many of those problems are still there. So if this fails, if decentralized AI fails, it could be because of speed and reliability. Because one thing I can say about your OpenAIs and your Googles and your Microsofts of the world is they are moving pretty quickly. Okay, they're moving quickly, and they're iterating, and they're making their products very good. And decentralized AI is just behind. Regulation could, of course, crack down on decentralized AI. Trump is pro-crypto, but the European Union and the SEC, they could crack down, citing securities or laundering risks or something like that. So regulation always, whenever you're talking about decentralization could be a problem. And then scams, right? The $250 million Libra scam that people have seen, this is the Wild West, okay? And there are going to be scams. It is, whenever I say what could go wrong, you have to at least mention that, okay? Still, the potential's massive, and there could be a revolution starting here. So I want you guys that do listen to, our small little podcast to be aware that, hey, decentralized AI may be a thing that you at least need to know about. I come on here often telling you guys to get into AI, to learn something about how to do, something on your own local computer. Now I'm going to say, at least learn about decentralized AI. And hey, I'm learning too, by the way. So if you come up with something, a great article or a great tweet that you see that you think is kind of eye-opening, share it with me. I'd love to be able to see it. Or if you're kind of bearish on decentralized AI and you just say, no, I'd rather leave the control with Google and with OpenAI, that's your business too. And I want to know about it. If you've got some good counterpoints, I'd love to be able to hear it. So, decentralized AI, it's a big tech story. Make sure you look into it and try to learn a little bit about it. All right, that is it for episode 9 of Buy the Rumor. Next week, I anticipate Christine to be back. I know we all miss Christine. I miss her from having this show. It's always good to have like a back and forth to talk with her on there. On here. But she should be back this next Tuesday. Okay. Had to go out of the country, do a few tats on some people that are not in the States. So some people that wouldn't be fortunate enough to be able to get a tattoo from Christine will be able to do so. So she's doing that over in out of the country, and she will come back, and hopefully in her segment, she just gives us a rundown of her trip. I'm sure she has some great opinions on things that she saw or funny stories from traveling, as we all do whenever we travel. So I hope she comes back and does that. Until then, I'm still going to play. I think I forgot to play this outro last week. I'm still going to play this outro, and then we will get on out of here. So make sure you still share this this episode, because people can watch it after it's already aired, of course, and see it in replay, and then share it out. See if we can get more people in here to listen live. Until then, I'll see you next week. I'm The Voice, and we will see Christine as well. Peace.
Chasing the thrill of the digital hive. Starting tech in a renegade code. This is the path where the bold explode. Behind the charts, the story unfolds. Fortunes are built in the data it holds. From crypto skies to entertainment streams, pushing the edge, chasing dreams unseen. By the roars, the story unfolds. Fortunes are built in the data it holds. From crypto skies to entertainment streams, pushing the edge, chasing dreams unseen. Buy the rumor when the silence screams. In a world of risks and electric dreams, become the future, take the ride. Sharp minds up on the darker side. Sharp minds up on the darker side. Charts don't lie, but the faces do. Watch the market sway like it's testing you. The gossip's currency is hard to ignore. Behind locked doors lies so much more.